This is my instant match review to the Tottenham Hotspur 3, Southampton 1 game. 2 goals from Brennan Johnson and a last kick of the game penalty from Matthias Tell. Penalty 1 from Brennan Johnson. And if you hear my voice being a little bit low key, it's because I had to just sit through doing a watch along to the second half of that game where it was so unbearably clear that Tottenham dropped their levels by about 50%. Because all they care about, and rightly, I guess, is the Europa League. And Southampton, without a doubt, the worst team I've seen come to Spurs for a fair few years. And although they had the better of the second half, Southampton, and did get a goal in the 90th minute, again, as ever, from a cross that nobody tried to stop and a back post free. Well, it would have been a free header, but he actually took it down on the chest. So even though they got that goal, Spurs then won a penalty at the other end and get a victory, which confirms, as I said, Southampton's relegation and probably confirms that Tottenham won't get relegated. Not that they were going to. But I'm just, honestly, I really feel for the people who spent £100 or so to go and watch that game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Maybe if you were involved in the protests, which looked pretty impressive on social media, that would make it worthwhile for you. But honestly, drudgery. It was drudgery. Spurs had a chance, 2-0 up at half time. Actually, they could easily have been 3 or 4 up at half time, and they had a chance to kind of get a real feel-good factor going amongst the Tottenham fans there. But it was, I guess, a bit of a no-win situation for Spurs, and you just have to win it. But really just not a lot to go on. Brennan Johnson with 2 really good finishes. Tell gets his first league goal of the season. I'll go through my minute by minute. Anyone who did the watch along with me will know I had a bad stream in the first 25 minutes. But actually not a lot happened while I was missing it. But Sonny got to the byline in the 8th minute, cut it back for Brennan Johnson. His shot was blocked. Romero had a header from a corner saved by Ramsdale in the 10th minute. And then Bergvall broke into the box and had a shot a weak shot saved by Ramsdale. Dibbling dug a cross out in the 11th minute. Saints should have scored at the back post, but their shot was deflected onto the post from Pedro Porro. Then Brennan Johnson scored in the 13th minute. Jed Spence got to the byline on the left, cut it back for Brennan Johnson, and a beautiful left-footed finish into the top right-hand corner. I do think, be interested to see what you think. It'll be interesting to see what you think. Let me know in the comments. I do think that Spence should play left back on Thursday night against Eintracht Frankfurt and Porro play right back. I think they're our best fullbacks at the moment. And I think Spence is more dangerous going forward. And I think he prefers defending from the left as well because the opposition forward tends to cut in and that makes him defend on his right foot. Then 26th minute, left foot cross from Porro. Romero should have scored with another head at the back post, but Ramsdale made himself big and saved it with his face. I made a note in the 30th minute, the pace of this game, even in the first half, was like a training game. Then Spurs had a goal disallowed in the 32nd minute. It would have been Lucas Bergvall's first Premier League goal. It was a free kick to the back post, headed back across from Romero. And Bergvall just on the stretch, it seemed like he was trying to control it, but actually it kind of bounced off his laces into the far corner. But it was disallowed after a 5-minute VAR check, which is completely laughable. Then the second goal, 41st minute, Brennan Johnson, beautiful deft finish with the outside of his right foot on the volley after James Maddison and headed ball forward into the box. Then in the 7 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, Fernandez for Southampton had a shot straight at Vicario, and Spence had a chance to really make it 3-0 where he nicked the ball off Tyler Dibbling as he went backwards. And we had 4 men in the box, but Spence pretty selfishly shot when he should have passed. Then, as I mentioned, the second half, honestly, if I made a note saying the first half was like a training game, the second half was like a Legends game. Like, you know, that the pace was like people who haven't played football for 10 and 15 years and put on 20 stone each. 52nd minute, great ball from Madders actually through midfield. Sonny was in on the left, but nobody was with him, so he took it onto his left foot and tried to have a shot, and it was easily blocked. 56th minute, Odebear and Sarr came on for Son and Bentancur. 59th minute, Porro got booked. 64th minute, Solanke made a chance for himself on his left foot, bottom right-hand corner, but saved by Ramsdale. Then there was a very odd piece of play straight after that when Ramsdale and Solanke are both chasing for the ball as it runs out of the box. And Solanke puts Ramsdale under so much pressure that Ramsdale then purposely handballs the ball outside the box. It is out wide, but a chance for Solanke to get the ball back in the middle of the box. But the ref does give a foul, but doesn't give a yellow or red card to Ramsdale. It was a bit odd, but I think because Southampton were 2-0 down, the ref was just trying to be kind. But then Tottenham tried to take the free kick quickly and probably would have scored, but the ref calls it back, which is completely bonkers. Then between that in the 64th minute and the 77th minute, nothing. Vicario made a save in the 77th minute at the near post. 78th minute, Bergvall off for Gray, Maddison off for Basuma. 83rd minute, Solanke had a shot that went wide and over the near post on his left foot. 86th minute, Tell on for Solanke. 87th minute, good save from Vicario from a shot that was deflected from close up by Ben Davis. Good save. And then 89th minute is where Southampton got their goal. And as I mentioned, just an easy opportunity for them to get across to the back post. And Fernandes could have headed it in first time, but he didn't. He chests it down. That's how unwilling we are to mark the back post. And it just happens time and time again. I said it in the watch-along. I said it against Chelsea. I said it against Fulham. I said it against Bournemouth. This is why Ange Postecoglou will lose his job, because we concede the same chances every game and concede the same goals every single game. It's not good enough in the Premier League. Teams are good enough to chip the ball to the back post. It's as simple as that. And it happened again. And Southampton tried to kind of come forward to get an equaliser, but instead Brennan Johnson won a penalty at the other end. And it seems kind of unfair that he didn't get to take that penalty, but Matthias Tell wanted it. And as a result, Tell took it and put it past Ramsdale. In terms of player ratings, Vicario, 7, made a few important saves, didn't have a lot to do, claimed a couple of crosses. Porro, I think, like I said, I'll give him a 7. I thought he was busy, looked energetic, played his way into the team for Thursday night, I think. Romero, 6, not really much going on with him. A few bizarre decisions, had a couple of headers going forward, a few bad passes. Ben Davis, 6.5, thought he did fine. Jed Spence, I'll give a 6.5, thought he did fine. Bentancur, 6.5. Bergvall, 7, thought he was busy and energetic. He'll definitely start the weekend. Maddison, 6.5. And then up front, going to have to give Johnson a 7.5 because he got those 2 goals. Ace finishing from the boy. Not really in the game much after that. Son, 5. Didn't even get a round of applause when he was walking off the pitch from the fans. I think he just looks, he looks battered and bruised at the moment, Sonny. And Solanke worked hard, but I'll have to give him a 6.5. He got a dead leg in the second half, and I fear that those things can really blow up, those dead legs. It'll be interesting to see whether he will be fit to play on Thursday night in the all-important Eintracht Frankfurt game. And I should say, I've got to be honest about it. I can't, it was boring. It was a dross fest. But I can't really complain because they will have been, and they probably were against Chelsea as well, realistically, at very least 10 to 15% off their top levels because they just didn't want to get injured. And it really showed. Like I said, the pace of the game was honestly it was so boring to watch. But if we came out of it with no injuries, and then Thursday night, let's hope that the fans are properly behind the team. Glory night at the Lane. As far as I'm concerned, I think we need 2 clear goals if we want to go into that away leg at Eintracht Frankfurt with any kind of confidence. I'm not saying we will get that, but if we can get the fans behind them, get the players playing at their absolute levels, make a good start, that's the kind of thing that we need. And if we got no injuries today from that game, that's the only thing that matters realistically. That is all that matters. And 3 points, obviously, takes us up, I believe, into 13th place in the league. Heady heights for Tottenham Hotspur. Heady heights. But I hate to be negative, and people hate me being negative, but when we concede another goal in exactly the same way, I guess one of the positives is today we did at least score some different goals. The first one was classic Ange Postecoglou, though. Got to the byline and a cutback for Brennan Johnson. But the second one was at least a bit of a different goal from a little bit of a, goalmouth scramble, kind of cleared ball from a free kick or a corner, and then a ball headed over and a good finish from Brennan Johnson. I feel for Brennan Johnson because I don't think he'll start against Frankfurt. I think he'll play Odegaard on the right and Son on the left. But arguably, with Son's form, I know it's a difficult thing to say, but arguably, Sonny shouldn't be starting that game. He should probably start Odegaard on the left and Johnson on the right because Eintracht will probably leave space in behind the fullbacks. And Sonny's form has been appalling, but also, who do you want a chance to fall to in a big game? Through all his experience, you'd still say Son Heung-min. So that is the end of my match review. Tottenham 3, Southampton 1. Very, very dull game. Very boring. Southampton relegated, but we got the 3 points, and that's all that really matters. And hoping no injuries going into that game against Frankfurt. Mickey van der Ven to come back in. And yeah, we need to win. We need to get through to the semi-final of the Europa League. We need to win it. We need to go to Bilbao. All right, guys, thanks for watching that instant match review. Give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And come on, you Spurs.